Welcome to WagerTalk Today, the gold standard of sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. It's Thursday, bracket time. NCAA tournament is rolling. First round matchups. We got a big NBA game tonight, and there's a lot going on today. Dan, only a couple guests because we got just so much to kind of cram in here. What are we going over today?
Yeah, I mean, we're starting here at noon Eastern time, which means 13 minutes away from the tournament tipping off. So we won't keep you too long, but we'll get you a couple winners. Gianni the Greek is going to let you know movers and shakers. What have we seen in college basketball action? Are these syndicates betting other sports while everybody is focused on March Madness? We're going to find that out with Gianni the Greek right at the top. And then Joe Raineri live from Las Vegas. That's right. He's in it. He is there on the ground, boots on the ground. I'm sure he has tickets out the wazoo on what he's betting. 2 games he's going to break down for you. Prairie View A&M, that game coming up later. He's actually going with Texas A&M and St. Mary's. Sorry, that game's tomorrow. I was looking at my screen here, Andy. St. Louis and Georgia, the Billikens taking on the Bulldogs is what we'll hear from here. And guys, like I kind of alluded to it with Yanni, quiet time in the book. Everybody wants to bet college basketball. Joe's going to break down Lakers and Heat. Andy's got some plays for you and all around the world. And we'll remind you, folks, there are other sports to bet on other than college basketball, and they're the ones that no one's betting in on. You want quiet time in the book. You want quiet time while everybody's paying attention elsewhere. Yeah, we got it. WT.Buzz /AL is where to get it. Andy, I'm pumped up, man. Even though I'm not a college basketball capper, as a sports fan, this is one of the best days of the year, the best few days of the year.
Yeah, today and tomorrow, solid. Of course, myself and Jan will be
and then
doing
it falls
a live
off a cliff.
show. Yeah. And of course, later today we're doing a live darts show. So, no, we got a great one. Last 3 days we're number one. Last 7 days we're number one. We got a 4% rugby and darts package that is up because that's how we roll. But let's bring in Yanni, and Yanni. It's got about 10 minutes here before tips here. The markets, I don't know. Are they exploding? Is it kind of calm and heavy this year?
Oh, yeah. It's crazy. Oh, with college basketball, yeah, just nonstop. This is when you're getting all the futures are being bet. People are betting who's going to win the national championship, who's going to get to the Sweet 16. Like all of that stuff has been bet today more than anything else. Obviously the games too. But that's when you got like so many of those futures, you start seeing some of those lines move because of that, whether a team will make the Sweet 16 or not. And because of that, I'm seeing a lot of the sharps taking advantage of the yes or no. But to answer your question really quickly about other sports, great question, because that's exactly what is happening. The first thing I saw in accounts today, to give you an example, was 10 soccer plays from all over the world, like different in England, in Czech, like everywhere, different soccer plays. 9 of those I put on the Steam sheet because I can't send 10 soccer premiums out because then I'll have another 5 or 6 college basketball. If there's an NBA, you can't have 20 premiums to subscribers. So what I did is I took the one that's the strongest that they put in multiple accounts, and then the rest I just put on the Steam sheet because I bet them all. Like they're 3% for myself. So there's a ton, like I said, 9 soccer bets in there for later tonight, tomorrow, the day after. So they are definitely looking at other markets. But with that said, there's just so much opportunity right now in college basketball because of all the recreational money that's being bet. Like they're moving a lot of these lines, and you're seeing that this morning because even a lot of the Steam plays from earlier in the week, you can now get that number once again because of the public coming in and betting the other side and forcing the books to bring that number back. Like a perfect example, look at the Gonzaga game. That if you looked on that Steam sheet, and what I had sent out was Gonzaga at like 19.5, 20, I think, got up to 21.5 or 22. But Kennesaw State is one of those darlings from the public. And next thing you know, the line starts dropping at different books where you could find some 20 and a half still out there. So that's what you're seeing a lot of today, where if you're just looking at line moves and trying to pick off what the sharps are, it's going to be a difficult task to do with like conviction because of the overwhelming public money that will affect a lot of these lines. And again, you're seeing that with just the first set of games that are going off, the Ohio State game, the Louisville game, the Nebraska game. Those are going back and forth, half point up, half point down, half point up, half point down, based on the money that's coming in. And then they got to factor what was the sharp side. And if we drop it back down, are they going to come back in too? So there's a lot going on. And great time in college basketball.
I got a couple follow-up questions to that. Parlays. I'm assuming that's a big theme when you have these big favorites and such. What do we see with parlays in the first couple days of the tournament?
Yep. Money line parlays with the big favorites. You absolutely nailed it. And that's what they're doing. They kind of did it yesterday, but SMU cost them. They did it Sunday with Yale. That cost them. Yale was that one money line. Penn beat them and crushed so many money line parlays. And like I said, yesterday, SMU, and I think there was another team also that was 6-7 point favorite that didn't get the money. So they're definitely looking to parlay these favorites. And I don't know, personally, I would look to parlay the dogs. Like I would look for 2 or 3 money line dogs over Thursday and Friday, because you're going to get some of these dogs that win outright. And I'm not talking about a 30-point underdog, but I mean some of these like 6, 7, 8, even 10-point underdogs that are live. I think we will see some of those come in. And even those 3, 4, 5-point dogs, like why not look to tie in 2 of those, 3 of those? It's a lot easier than hitting 8, chalky favorites. I know it assumes like a -14 can't lose, a -10 can't lose, but in college basketball, that happens every single day. So it's foolish. I would take the opposite approach. And because it's March Madness, because it's Cinderella and the big dance, I would look to parlay moneyline dogs, needing less of them to make a score than having to lock up, 8 chalky parlays just to get 3-1 on my money. Just don't make sense.
As the day goes on, are we going to see people in syndicates pushing? I mean, you want to go to, they call them the bailout games. You got Idaho, Houston, Kennesaw State, Gonzaga, St. Louis, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Illinois. Those are your 4 late games. Do we see kind of crazy movement on these games? The longer the day goes on.
Oh yeah, they become the bailout, like you touched on. That's exactly what starts to happen. And also you got to remember that risk starts to pile up for the sports books. That, if some favorites do well early, all of a sudden there's 3, 4, 5 team parlays heading into the night action that are still live. So they have to adjust and try to limit that risk, which will entice some sharp bettors that know that number's not inefficient, but it has to be moved to cover that parlay risk. So that will definitely transpire, especially if the favorites do well early. Like if you see there's not those upsets early, rest assured, the risk will start piling up on those late favorites. Not as much on like the 20, 25 point favorites, but it's those mid favorites, those between 8 and 14 points. I see the most that they feel like these can't lose. You know what I mean? These double-digit favorites aren't losing. And we see every year in the big dance, 1, 2 of them end up going down, especially as we talked about it throughout the entire season. The rankings are off. I mean, we know that the AP polls off, the coaches polls off. So these 1 through 16 are definitely off. They don't even have like the simplicity of the regular where they put up 25. Just pollsters. Now it's these are top teams, and having to put them from 1 to 16 based on what part of the country they're playing, there are just too many mistakes to take advantage of. You know what I mean? Like a 6 that should be a 9, or an 11 that should be a 5. A lot of that. So definitely the risk will keep piling up if favorites do well early. And because of that, you'll see adjustments late to account for that. So yeah, great opportunity for bettors if you're at the book all day, which most.
I'm wondering, Gianni, Yeah, and I'm wondering, we've talked a lot of, like the high level stuff of here's how the action's going to go throughout the day. So as far as you've seen this morning, as far as what you've been putting on the Steam sheet, what have you been seeing? What have you fired on? And what can you share with the folks here as far as the actual actions considered?
Yeah, thank you for asking. Here's what I've done with the Steam sheet. Throughout the week, I've been adding stuff for Thursday and Friday, stuff that they've been getting down on that I was pretty confident these aren't going to be bought back. And if they are, it's a different group. It's not like a middle attempt or anything like that. Today, what I've gone through is I'm going through game by game and adding what I have for each of those games. And so like for now, for these early games that are going off, I let them know 728 Nebraska -13, sharp. 720 Ohio State, money line -130, sharp. I'll go down the list. 726 Vanderbilt -11, 724 Illinois -22, 740 Gonzaga -19, -20, 733 High Point +10.5, 709 USF +7, South Florida. But today we got Louisville steamed at -4.5, and money line. So two different numbers, two different bets. And here are those totals. Like I said, if you're a subscriber of mine, you're already getting it. And make sure you pay attention every day of the tournament on your Steam sheet and check at it a couple times a day. Because like I said, I'm going through every game. So far, I covered everything until the 4 p.m. Pacific games. So there's 8 games left that I'm going to go through each one when I'm done this and add what else I can, side or totals. So those are some of the sides. Here's some of the totals for you. 728 over 137, Troy, Nebraska. 710 under 165, N64, USF, Louisville. 729 over 147, A&M, St. Mary's. 724 over 151.5, Penn, Illinois. 711, North Dakota State, Michigan State over 143. Like I said, there's sharp money on pretty much every matchup because these lines are moving based on a lot of recreational money. And whenever there's unsophisticated money in the marketplace, moving prices, just like in the stock market, the institutions are going to be sitting by waiting to pounce. And that's why the sheet will keep getting updated with more and more stuff. And I know a lot of guys are thinking, wait, they actually are betting this much stuff on a day like today with only 16 games? Yeah. Not only are they trying to get down on every side in total, but as my subscribers we just got 2 team totals I just sent out. So they're starting to hit those team totals, those first half totals. Like that's where the gold is in those smaller like derivatives of the matchup. That's where you could do some real damage. So right now, pay attention to those markets because that's what they're hitting. They're hitting the team totals for the matchups, and they're hitting first half overs or unders. The sides and totals, they already blasted. Like I said, because the public money's been coming in over the last 12 hours nonstop. They've moved most of today's lines, and they could already tell where the action's going. So, yeah, it's a great day. I feel like I've done this now 30 plus years in a row here in Vegas, and I still was up at 20 minutes before my alarm went off at 4:30 this morning, waiting for it, seriously. So, yeah, great time to be in Vegas.
All right, I got to run this theory by you. One of my friends who will not listen to a word I say, who just bets his own stuff and then constantly complains about having to reload his DraftKings account.
That's how it goes.
I'll give you my Formula One plays. I can give you lacrosse plays. No, it's cool. I got the. All right, so he has this theory every year since I've known him. Take the first half unders on the early games on Thursday and Friday because they're playing in new venues. The crowd is sparse. It's a different time of day. They're not used to playing Thursday mornings, Friday mornings in Indianapolis or wherever. This is his big theory. And of course he says it wins every year because, Gianni, he never loses. So are there any like annual things that the actual bettors do, or is that a thing?
Yes. Yeah, for sure. And here's why. Because until it's factored into the betting line, you can take advantage. The flip side of that coin is that sports betting is a pretty efficient market. And the definition of an efficient market is one that continues to correct itself. So those kind of edges last until they don't, until the market corrects itself. And if you start sharing that trend and talking about that trend, rest assured, it's going to correct itself even quicker. Is that particular one still money, or has it been money? I don't know, but it makes sense, because I can tell you there is still, I can't share it, but I'll give you the factors, and there's a lot of sharp guys that watch this. You can probably figure it out on your own. But again, if I don't come up with it, it's not mine to share. But there are still a handicap of in NFL that works. Forget, I got college sports. It's even more important. But based on where these teams are usually based, like if you're living on the West Coast because you're a West Coast team, or living on the East Coast because you're an East Coast team, and based on your own biological clock, when you're most optimum, whether you're playing on the East Coast or West Coast, that will affect your play. I've heard this from very sharp people just this past football season. So they're still taking advantage of an East Coast team flying west and a West Coast team flying east, but they're a little more nuanced and advanced on what they're taking advantage of right now. So those are the kind of things you want to dig deep into. Like, we were real simple. Let me break it to you this way. When I first broke in the very first group I was working for back in Philly that was moving steam, when the brackets first came out, we would whip out a map and rulers, and we would measure how the distance of the school to where they're playing, and look for those advantages, whoever was traveling the furthest. And there was a window where we made money doing that. The teams that had the least travel would do best ATS. But eventually, the market catches up and corrects itself, and it gets talked about and shared and no longer works. But those kind of factors that you could uncover, trends that you could uncover, I believe in them. If there's a system, like if there's a fundamental reason it should continue, and we have a biological clock, we're not optimum 24 hours a day. So there is a fundamental reason that should continue. I'm on the West Coast, so I'm 3 hours behind on the East. If I have to go there, it is going to affect me. If I have to play at this time or that time or that time, depending on what time I have to play. And again, if you could take advantage of that, you could take advantage of that. So yes, a long way of saying, I don't know if his particular trend is one you want to follow blindly still, but it does have merit, because again, it makes sense. They're playing in a new venue early in the morning. It should affect it, but are the totals lower because of that? Also, that's the key, which is the beauty of the market. We are going to look at it differently while it continues to try to correct.
First bet of the day cashes Ohio State first to 5 points. There's your very first.
And now they're down 6-5.
And now they're down.
Just like that.
If you're 1-0, just take it and run. That's amazing. So you were measuring out things with a ruler. Now, Gianni, you can just put the game into AI and they'll tell you.
It's going to tell you. It's going to tell you. And they're all flying first class anyway now. Back then, they were riding buses to half of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you only had to go 40 miles, that school ain't flying you anywhere. They're taking a bus.
Absolutely.
Yanni, it's just crazy. It's crazy how much things have changed. Yanni was pulling out a globe with his abacus to
for real, bro.
And then
for real.
friggin' like 10 years later, it's completely different. Yanni, what do you got locked and loaded for folks? I mean, this is the time of the year. We're all like little kids in a candy shop right now. What do you got rocking for clients?
Yep. Up over 60 units in college basketball. You know what we're looking for to do some damage and lock it up in this final couple weeks of March Madness. Today, I have a package up with a 5%. I was number one throughout the season in college basketball, and I only fired 2 5% the entire year because I was telling my guys in the steam room, we don't have to change anything up. The 4% are doing just fine. Why do we have to add more risk? We're crushing it, but sometimes it's warranted. This is the third time it's warranted. I'm 2-0 so far. Hopefully we hit one today as well, because I do think opportunities for 5% are going to present themselves over these next couple of weeks over and over and over again. So that package is up. There's a 5%, 2 4%, and a 3% in there. So there's 4 bets in there. Subscribers also got 2 team totals. And bonus, I gave out futures. I gave out a 5% future to win the national championship. So if you got that package, you got 2 5% in it today. That's a bonus. So like I said, this is that time of year I'm looking to do some damage. I know a lot joined with me for this month. Just manage risk correctly. We're going to do some damage. By the time they cut down the nets in early April, we'll do just fine. But pace ourselves. We have the Sweet 16, the 32, Elite 8, Final Fours. We got nothing but time and opportunity. So pace ourselves. Don't bet bad numbers. We'll make some money. And the 5% gets there again. 3-0 after today.
Thank you very much, Gianni. Take care. Tell Jackpot we said hi. Thank you very much.
Man.
Have a great
My
Thursday.
Man. Shout out from Jack.
Oh,
he's the man. He's getting too ballsy. That's the problem. Now he's confident.
That's
I'm like,
fair.
well, that shy guy I drove from the airport. Now he's
it's getting there.
Yeah,
It's getting there. I love it. Gianni the Greek and Jackpot. Jackpot not the only one who's hit. If you know what I'm saying,
No.
Andy. If you know what I'm saying.
we do have a couple quick things to go over. Happy Darts Day to those who celebrate. Yes, Seth. So quick, if you guys got the darts play on Sportsmemo the other day, so we had a darts play on WagerTalk and Sportsmemo. Dan, you can't make this up. One of the darts players we bet on had to withdraw with kidney stones. So
only in darts. We had the guy who cashed after being afflicted with gout, and now we have people withdrawing from kidney stones.
Yes.
Only in darts.
Yes. So the 4% on WagerTalk, that 4% WagerTalk play, good to go. Starts about 3:15 Eastern time. But the one on Sportsmemo, that is voided out. So just a little note there. But we got to get to Joe here, and then after Joe, we got an 8-1 violence parlay for UFC. We got some player props. Joe, you're in Vegas, right?
No, I am actually in New York City. And yes, I'm in New York. I'm in Manhattan right now. So yeah, been a lot of fun getting off at the airport there when I left 83, and it's 22 here. So yeah, been a lot of fun, and I got to watch nothing but Aaron Judge people in the streets just crying their eyes out after the WBC loss. So yeah, it's not been a pleasant trip for me, Andy, at all.
Well, I was going to ask if you were in Vegas, were we going to have any drop-ins like we had with Gianni's guest, a surprise guest that we had that the chat was very much enjoying. You never know what you're going to get from Gianni, Joe. You never know what you're going to get.
Live shows.
Let me tell you something. I've worked very hard to make sure that I position this camera and everything in this room so you're not seeing everything else going on in here. So I'm just saying, I've done this. I pre-planned, unlike Gianni, who is apparently just let me set the camera up and whatever happens behind me happens behind me.
Oh my God. Well,
just saying.
Joe, we're gonna have you break down a couple college basketball games, and then I've got one of the funniest charts I've ever seen, because we have got to talk about the Lakers game tonight. I don't know if you saw it. Luka went scorched earth last night. That was like he left his body. And what is it with? I'm gonna get to the fans at courtside talking smack. If you're gonna talk shit to somebody, do it to Marcus Smart, not Luka, who will light you up for 7 3-pointers. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. Run your mouth to the bench player, not the hottest shooter.
Yeah, like Kennard. Like, isn't Luke Kennard available to talk smack too? Like, why of all people would you go after Luka? Who the only worst I wanted to say up until last night, Kevin Durant wouldn't have been a smart choice either, but. Durant is too busy sulking now in the corner to actually make a difference in any game, trying to figure out what to do. I mean, how in the world Durant only ends up with 13 points again against this Lakers defense at home is head-scratching to me. But, hey, listen, maybe the Lakers have found a little something. We'll know. They're in Miami tonight. So I doubt very much the Miami fans will be talking smack to one Luka here tonight, if he even plays for that matter.
They're just going to be the most cordial fan. Hello, Mr. Doncic. Could I get you a towel, Mr. Doncic? Would you like a water,
Yes.
Mr. Doncic? All right.
Yes.
Let's
Thank you,
let's
Mr.
go
Doncic.
to the couple of let's go to a couple NCAA games. We got Texas A&M, St. Mary's, then we got St. Louis, Georgia. Let's start with St. Mary's as the -3.5 against Texas A&M. Over under 147.5. How are we going to attack this one?
So buckyball, right? Texas A&M, who has overachieved all year long here. New style, right? They've never met a three they didn't like to take. They love to run up and down the court. It's all about tempo and pace with them. The problem is they're taking on St. Mary's and Randy Bennett, who has been here and done this, Andy, as you know, and they are not in a rush to go anywhere. In fact, you are not going to speed up St. Mary's, and that is really where this game is going to be decided. If Texas A&M and this style of play that Bucky McMillan has brought to them, it hasn't had a ton of success in tournament play in the past because eventually you run into a team that you can't speed up. I don't see how they're going to speed up St. Mary's. St. Mary's is going to drag this down to their level. They're going to play their style of game. It's what Randy Bennett and they have done for years here. And that tends to mean that Texas A&M, when they're out of rhythm and they're not playing their style, it's very difficult for them to win games. I think St. Mary's should be a bigger favorite here. I think St. Mary's is going to dictate pace. They're going to dictate the tempo and the flow of this game. I think that's all she wrote for Texas A&M this year. Great year, but they overperformed. Nobody saw Texas A&M even getting to this particular spot in the season. So kudos to Bucky McMillan. The future is bright at A&M, but you are not speeding up and taking St. Mary's out of who they are.
All right. I'm going to put that in there. I've been building parlays based on our guests' opinions.
Why not?
See where we end up. So you got St. Mary's Perfect. There. I'm going to put this one in the bet slip while you talk about St. Louis and Georgia. We got Georgia as a small favorite here, -2.5. Over under 169.5. How do you see this one?
Cream de bar. Like, what do they call Avia now? It might be the greatest nickname I think I've ever heard for the Billikens here. And Robbie Avia, who, I don't know, he might be 30 at this point. It feels like he's been playing college basketball forever. But this is another one here where, I mean, I don't know. How is anybody sweating out an under with these two teams right now? The Billikens are absolutely more than capable of shooting you out of the gym. And it's been a little rough stretch here down the last couple of weeks. But this is a team and one of the dangerous mid-major teams, and we all knew it outside of Miami of Ohio. This was the team that was most talked about on the mid-major level. Now they get to take on Mike White and Georgia, who good. I mean, I'm exhausted just watching them play basketball because they're the worst offensive team you'll ever see. But my goodness, are they going to chuck up a volume of shots here? And they are just going to keep running and running and running. I think the Billikens get it done here. I don't trust Georgia at all. And I know this is going to be SEC versus, mid. No, I think the Billikens have better shooters. I think they're a better story. I think they are prepped and ready to take that next step. I think this is going to be one of those mid-major upsets on day one here today. I'm taking the points, the Billikens. I'm sprinkling a little something on the money line, and good luck sweating out an under in this one, not me.
Yeah, right there with you. That's exactly the way I bet it too. So let's go. I love it when Joe, who knows college basketball way more than I, is on a dog the same way as I am. So let's get it, baby.
Looks like you can money line.
There are a few trendy ones you got to be careful of. I mean, that's the problem here today.
Like who do you think?
At the point, because
everyone's talking about the dogs.
Last year it was so chalky. It was so chalky last year that everyone now falls in love with these mid-majors this year and thinks somehow High Point is going to run Wisconsin out of the gym. Yeah. They think all of a sudden because Mikhail Brown Jr. is not there, now South Florida is the trendy dog. Apparently, without Caleb Wilson, VCU is just going to run roughshod over North. There's a lot of those trendy dogs where everybody is running left. Might be way more profitable to run right here. Not saying that the mid-majors aren't worthy of being here, but I think who is High Point played that of anywhere near the caliber of Wisconsin this year? The answer is UAB. No. I mean, Wisconsin is a team that has the 5 most impressive wins of any school in the country this year. And somehow they're going to take they're not going to take High Point lightly, but High Point is not going to know what hit him here. I think it's another over game, number 1. But I also think finally Greg Gard in Wisconsin get out of the first weekend here with a win instead of getting bounced like he's done in years past. It's a different Wisconsin team than in years past. And I'd be very careful with these trendy mid-majors here today over the first couple of days.
2-1 on that money line parlay there on Joe's little sprinkle on St. Louis and then St. Mary. So
they like the one we built for him yesterday, Andy. So let's just keep it rolling, baby. Let's go.
All right.
So broke, people.
So I was looking at player props in the Miami game, and Joe, I came across one of the funniest charts I have ever seen. One of these looks,
your boy,
one of these
Joe.
sticks out a little bit.
I can't. How you even found that is beyond me, but that is great. That is a giant middle finger right there, Andy. That's what that is. That's a middle finger to the NBA, to anybody else there, the Wizards. That's just a giant middle finger right there. That's great.
I just love how consistent he is on both sides of it. Like 20, 21, 24, 21, 23, 83.
Yes.
NBA record.
That tells you everything you need to know. That tells you everything you need to know. I don't know what's worse, the 83 or the fact that the Brooklyn Nets scored 24 points and a half last night. I'm not sure what is more embarrassing to the NBA this year.
Second one. Yeah,
It's the Nets. It's the Nets. It's definitely the Nets. So, all right, let's do this. Lakers and Miami Heat. You brought up there's potentially maybe Luka doesn't play here in this one. Has he been ruled out, or do we know at this point?
Well, I mean, the Lakers are on fire, right? What is it? 9 out of 10, 10 out of 11. I mean, they just swept, Houston in that back-to-back situation there, and they seem to have figured out Kevin Durant. Miami, on the other hand, at home has been very profitable to back here. It is now, the third game of a road trip here for the Lakers, second of a back-to-back. So, rest is in Miami's favor, and I get why they're a favorite. And the money seems to be coming in on Miami. They were -2 overnight. I'm seeing 3.5s right now. The total has also been getting crushed up, opening at 240 now, 242.5. So, yeah, I agree with the total, but know who's playing in this game here for both teams, really, because Miami's had some injury concerns. I do like Miami at home here. These are the kinds of games that they usually take advantage of on their own home court, especially when they have a rest advantage. And they need to keep winning some games here to stay out of the play-in situation and solidify themselves here in the postseason. So Lakers, it's been a great run, but it wouldn't shock me if LeBron, Reeves, a few of the other guys maybe take a night off here.
Last 10 games, top 3 defensive rated teams: Hawks, Thunder, Lakers. Just wild stuff.
Well,
wild stuff there. Yeah, absolutely. So,
yeah.
My theory is Luka. You remember when you came on and we were stunned that Luka was married? Do you remember that? And now it turns out he's not.
So was he.
Yeah.
That's fair. Apparently he was as well. Yep.
Good point.
Life comes at you quick, Joe. Luka's married. Now all of a sudden he's not.
No,
married.
he's not.
Yep.
My theory is he's taking out some aggression on the other teams because the shooting and everything is just wild. So, so how long are you going to be in New York?
I'm here to tomorrow. I'll be back in sunny South Florida on Saturday. So can't wait because I'm sure as soon as I leave it'll be 70 here. But got to power through the next 24 to 48 hours here. We'll do it. I'll light a candle. We'll be all good to go.
Awesome stuff, Joe. What do you have up for everyone at WagerTalk?
Locked and loaded here. Obviously, got a big play tomorrow here in the round of 64 in college hoops. Got a couple of plays tonight. NBA also ready to roll. And don't look now, but opening day is just a week away. Kind of crazy, but it's that time of year, Andy.
A A week away. Oh my God.
All right, let's bring the weather with it then.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Well, that's
incredible. I knew it was coming up. I didn't know it was that fast.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Joe, enjoy New York.
Yep.
And based on the weather that I'm getting, the East Coast gets it about a day or two later. And yeah, the day you leave, it is going to warm up to about 70, man. So nice little FU.
Yeah. But at this point, I might have to drive home because I don't think there's enough TSA agents working that I can actually get through an airport security.
Good
so
point.
I might actually have to drive home, Andy, when it's all said and done.
I have friends that were stuck in Miami. It's quicker to drive. They rented a car and drove.
Road trip.
Big possibility. Yeah, exactly.
This might actually be a 50-50 proposition that it's quicker if you look at those lines and then go, what if, because their flight got delayed and then canceled. And so it was like, yep, we're just renting a car and we're not waiting here. So, all right. Well, Joe, I hope it doesn't happen. I hope you get to the airport 17 hours early and you get home quick. So thanks.
As soon as I'm done here, my flight doesn't leave until tomorrow night, but I might
gotta go
as soon as we're done here, Andy.
Thanks, Joe.
Joe Deary.
Guys.
Good luck in the tournament,
much,
brother.
Joe.
Yeah, no, you're not kidding, man. Hey, well, he knows he's got a spot in Philly. Cheesesteaks on me for when he has to drive his ass down. So
I hit it's my neighbors down the street. I hit them up. I was like, you guys back home? And they're like, no, we're stuck in Miami. We've been stuck, and now we're just gonna drive back. It's gonna be quicker. Oh my God. So all right. So we're gonna do a couple things here, guys. We got all around the world, and then Mark said work sucks, and so we need a parlay. So all right, I'll give you an 8-1 parlay. We'll do a violence parlay, but just I can't stress enough. I know it's college basketball season. We are cashing for you guys over at WagerTalk. We are number one last 3 days. We are number one the last 7 days, and we are doing it in the sports that I will assure you the books are not giving their full attention. They are not giving attention to the ridiculous line that Dan hit yesterday in lacrosse. They are not paying attention to that. They are not paying attention to the darts lines. They are not paying attention to the rugby lines. They are not paying attention to some of these NBA props. We've been cashing all week, and we got big time plays coming up for you this weekend. The only thing to do is to buy 3 days and you get 3 days free. So you get every single one of our sports. There are tennis tournaments going on. Several of you in the chat have already said we've hit tennis earlier today. So these are the plays that will make you money. Have fun with your bracket. Have fun with college basketball.
Yeah.
You want the softest lines? This is what we do.
Well, and I couldn't agree more with you, Andy. And truly, guys, again, have fun. Let's have college basketball together. That's what we're all watching. That's what we're all doing. But if you truly want to be cashing, and I hate to be up on the soapbox or whatever, Andy, but last night we give out a lacrosse play that was 24. It moves down to 23.5. There were 15 goals scored in the game. It was never a sweat. The handicap was rock solid. The game before that, Andy, we bet an over 20.5. And guess how many goals were scored? 26 goals. So between those two games, 13 points was the totals were off in a one goal kind of, there's no 3-pointers, there's no 2-pointers. So folks, again, if you want to cash in on these sports that no one else is paying attention to, WT.buzz/AL. There's all kinds of deals. There's all kinds of packages. You reach out to customer service. We'll make the package work for you. But while everyone else is zigging, Andy, our team's just going to keep zagging. And we're going to do boxing and rugby and golf and lacrosse and darts. And we're just going to keep on cashing. We want you guys to join us. Check it out. WT.buzz/AL.
All right, Mark, this one's for you. We're going to do a share screen here.
Yes,
we are
please.
going. Yeah, so we're going to do an 8-1 UFC parlay here.
Let's do it.
We're going old school with a violence parlay. All right, there are two fights. And we're going real violent. All right, so Dan, one of our favorite guys that came out of Contender Series, his name is Iwu Baranowski, and he's fighting a guy named Austin Lane. You've got the best of both worlds. You have Baranowski, who has said flat out, I don't care about winning. I just want to put on exciting fights. His last two fights have lasted 1:29 and 20 seconds. He was an underdog in this fight that lasted 20 seconds, and he goes across the ring and blasts the guy and knocks him into next week. Then he makes his UFC debut and he puts on a hell of a show. This guy is violence personified. So what does UFC give him? One of the chinniest men on the roster who gets knocked out at a moment. All right. So this is Austin Lane. Austin Lane is a former football player who gets knocked out by anybody with a decent punch.
The pulse.
Here is the funniest stat about Austin Lane. He got knocked out by Greg Hardy. Greg Hardy knocked him out in an MMA fight. Now he's moving down weight divisions, so he's going to be thin and not a lot of energy. His chin is completely gone. So remember this: Iwa Baranuski, Austin Lane. We are going to parlay a prop in that one with one of our. He's our favorite from Contender Series, Montes Contradivisius. This guy, he is a sleeping psycho. You want to bet on this guy? You want to be friends with him? This guy. Here's another one: violence personified. He knocked out his guy in a minute. And before that, he knocked a guy out in 47 seconds. He also made a guy quit due to, he hurt a guy so bad there was a medical injury 2 minutes into the fight. This guy, all he does is beat the absolute shit out of people. And he is fighting a fighter, Antonio Trocali, who
that's all this guy I saw the selfie, Andy. I saw the selfie at the top for his photo.
Okay, so he's lost under a minute and a half in his last 2 fights. And do you know what he does for a living now?
Take selfies?
No, he's a poker player.
And he's just trotting on out to get the shit kicked out of him is essentially what we're finding out.
The UFC knows what they're doing. These are going to be highlight finishes. You can take both these fights and parlay them under half a round and get 8-1. So you can take 2 fighters who are as chinny as it gets against 2 absolute killers, and you can put them under half a round and you can get 8-1. I think there are worse bets out on the board. So that is going to be your violence parlay, Mark. Barnowski.
There you go. You can find that
under
2 fights and finding those spellings, Andy. That's why I had to put them up on the screen so folks can find it. 2 bets. Plus 800. And sure, if you want to go a little less chalky, like Andy said, you could find knockout bets. You could also go, under 1.5 rounds if you're a little scared. But the 8-1, let's get first round knockouts early here. Let's go, baby. 2 fights, 8-1. I'm in.
Poker player.
That's crazy. And even in his picture, he's taking a selfie. It's like that's a man who's getting knocked out this weekend.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. So, all right, RJ, I'm just telling you, if you've watched these 2 maniacs fight, they come in guns ablazing. It is kill or be killed. They are here for a good time, not a long time. So, and it's 8-1. That's you're not. It's not even. It's 8-1. So it's a little sprinkle. So, all right, we can do all around the world with some player props here, and then we can get everyone out of here.
Andy, you didn't shoot me the graphic for this one, so you run through them and I'll put them up on the screen for you.
Well, you're right. No, I did actually, Dan.
Wow, did I not scroll up high enough?
Yeah, you didn't scroll up high enough, but I'll start going over it and you can pull the graphic up.
And I'll get it for you.
We've had, of all the weird props that we've had success on the show, I think we're undefeated on Charlie McAvoy props. So we'll go to the NHL and we'll take the Winnipeg Jets and the Boston Bruins, and we're going Charlie McAvoy over 1.5 shots on goal. This guy's on fire. His points props are on fire. His shots are on fire. Over in 10 straight. He's getting 5 shots per game. Over in 4 straight against Winnipeg, and Winnipeg is 16th in giving up shots on goal. We mentioned Luka. What he did last night was next level. Unfortunately, the game was on really late, so it's tough to watch, but it was incredible. And he's still shooting 14 3-point attempts per game. He hit 7 of them last night. If he plays tonight, take his over 3.5 mades. He's going ballistic. He's a bet on. Then we'll do a player prop here in the Michigan game tonight. We're actually going with a player on Howard's team. I think his name is pronounced Okoji. They lowered this number down to 9.5. I get it. His total was like 11.5 and 12.5, but that was against much worse teams, obviously. But the fact is, this guy scored 11 points in 8 straight games. He's playing 34 minutes. I would expect if he goes over, it's probably going to be in the second half. Look for him to have like maybe 4 points at halftime. But then when Michigan kind of calls off the dogs, look for this Howard player to go over 9.5 points. There's a little bit of an obscure one for you tonight. So, all right, we're gonna be back tomorrow after a long, hectic day of darts and what's the others? Oh yeah, that's right, college basketball. No, we'll get you all set. We'll get you all squared
darts,
away.
And then there's a tournament going on.
But darts.
Yes. Yeah. So in all honesty, guys, be careful with your bets today. We always give this warning. This can be really, really dangerous. Your phone, don't fire away a million live bets and get yourself overextended. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It can get really exciting, especially with if you're out with your buddies. Protect your bankroll. We want you to have fun, but we also don't want you to regret any of your bets that you've made today. So thank you very much for joining us. Please hit the like button. Leave us a comment on the way out. Tomorrow's another big day, and we're going to get you ready for the weekend. So make sure you're here tomorrow, same time, same place. Good luck on your brackets. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.